And Justice Minister Ronald Lamola withdraws his application to intervene in extending the state capture inquiry by another 3 months. There are more than 9 million young people in South Africa who are neither working nor studying. That's according to a Center for Development and Enterprise report on youth unemployment. It makes recommendations on interventions that can assist the most disadvantaged young people. Let's speak to the Center's Executive Director, Bernstein, now. And thank you for making time. 9 million young people not in employment, not in education, not in training. Who are they? Because this is beyond a crisis.
You're right, Clement. It's actually 9.1 million people and growing as we speak. These are people who, a very small number are graduates, about 8%, and they are the people most likely to get a job when the economy starts to turn up. About 40% of these people have matric, 3.7 million, and they're in a very tough environment, very hard to get a job. But the largest number, 52%, are not matrics, people who've dropped out of school or haven't got their matric, and that's 4.7 million people who are the most excluded young people aged 15 to 34 in South Africa today. So that means that 3 in 5 young work seekers are jobless.
Wow. Why are we failing to connect these young people to work?
There are a number of reasons. Our economy hasn't grown for the last 5 to 8 years significantly in any way. We have a capital-intensive economy, and that has been by design of policy, that we'll have a high-skill, high-wage economy. We encourage capital intensity, and yet our education and skills system does not train people for those kinds of jobs. The vast majority of young people come out of very bad schools because we refuse to fundamentally change our schooling system. And our skills and training system is also very inefficient and doesn't produce the kinds of skilled people that our companies need. So we have chosen a set of policies in this country that have led to this terrible situation. We have also, instead of grappling with the hard choices we have to make, there is a recognition of this very enormous catastrophe. But both government doesn't want to deal with the hard choices, the policy reforms that are needed to get growth going at as rapid a rate as possible. They keep focusing on small interventions or add-ons or ways around bad policies. We have to change our policies. But we also have to become a much more labor-intensive economy, and that requires reform to the labor market. We're also resisting doing that. And thirdly, we have to fix the quality of our education and skills training system, and skills training has to be much more closely linked to the firms we have.
Is there political appetite to implement the reforms that you're speaking about, Anne? And because the problem with this crisis is that when young people are stuck in this cycle of dependence, there are consequences on society, there are consequences on our economy.
Well, one would think that the terrible events in July, which are still not crystal clear, but there's one thing that was clear, was that the desperation and hopelessness and disrespect for the law of many young people who engaged in looting was very clear. And I just cannot understand why we would want to wait for more incidents like that, more terrible events like that, to expand and grow. So I do hope there is much greater political appetite, but what's needed is the courage to take some risks. We can't carry on as we are, because the way we are has led to this situation. So we have to get leadership that stops just talking about and pretending that we're dealing with youth unemployment and exclusion, but actually focuses on including people and making changes to build a much faster growing, much more labor intensive economy.
Yeah, and thank you for making time. More than 9 million young people not working, not studying. That's not okay. And Bernstein is the executive director for the Center for Development